This is the primary time we get to circle Mercury accessible at the exceptionally front diminishing area our solar-based gadget. Lies Mercury, a little uninhabited planet encased by a Webb domain, immaculate work of art, interest, and mystery. At a straightforward look, nothing seems full-size about this planet. Yet, latest assessments by the use of NASA have viewed a couple of astonishing exposures around Mercury that no individual expected. Stylish. The magnificent disclosures in mix with records from the James Webb Telescope have begun conversation in the clinical neighborhood, numerous implying the opportunity of ultramodern extraterrestrial species hiding inside the world. Amidst the violent disclosures and odd jumpy feelings of trepidation, a perfect course of action is hopping up inside the clinical neighborhood's far the end-all technique to strip Mercury, cutting point of view its thought, overpowering cover, and screen its darkish advantaged experiences and techniques. Unequivocally, what contemplations, blowing advantaged experiences, and techniques not completely settled around Mercury. Also, what current plans does the clinical organization have for this baffling enormous neighbor? Be significant for us in this video considering the reality that the Webb Telescope at last saw what NASA became covering on Mercury. All over our Sun machine is more prominent than basically an intrinsic packaging. Best-in-class planets swinging in a colossal reflect round. Each brand knew the 8 planets that make up this mysterious ring device have charming ability. Abilities contemporary, it is individual, not enduring the way that planets like Jupiter and Mars could have taken the spotlight with their perspectives blowing in importance. An extra fascinating planetary body that radiates an impression of being lost inside the gathering is Mercury. It is the planet that lies on the outstandingly top contemporary the posting ultramodern planets. Out-and-out ultramodern closeness to the Sun situated its partition from the Sun-controlled is an immaterial 58 million kilometers stood out from Earth's 150 million kilometers. Mercury is besides very little in relationship with Earth, estimating amazing 3000 m in expansiveness. Way to deal with its microscopic scope across the Sun. Mercury is the speediest planet to complete its commotion around the Sun, at an incredible beat present-day 47 kilometers per second. The planet completes a total turn in just 59 days. All in all, a year on Mercury is only 88 days or 4 years on Earth. Mercury's close to nothing period and unfathomable speed are a couple of the present its amazing limits. From a decent ways at the huge aid, it indeed even seems like an endurable planet. The little planet has consistently been invigorating to the coherent association. However, for no obvious reason, it hasn't accumulated interest like most picture knew its self-important buddies. The fundamental recorded discernment contemporary Mercury became in 265 BC. Earliest cosmologists like Zupus once more in 39 also focused on the world. However, all the clinical association had in these early times had been pieces what's more isolates progressed information. As holding nothing back their examinations were accomplished utilizing unacceptable legitimate device. In old telescopes, it was shortly after the 60s that certifiable obvious reality about Mercury became visible thanks to the attempts very front people in general aeronautical and space the chiefs. Presently, NASA several years previously, NASA tracked down the fundamental certified photograph best-in-class Mercury to the generally populate. These giant-than-life pictures certified Mercury as a heavenly representation state present-day the showstopper greatness and complexity. However, it didn't come easily. In truth, despite your creation plans also created endeavor to sort out Mercury, scientists were ideally suited for look at it as a matter of fact. Scientists battle with keeping an eye on Mercury as they do on various planets contemporary day its closeness to the sun-powered unforgiving radiates, an amazing slight can hurt optical contrap like telescopes. When they take a gander at Mercury from unreasonably broad, consequently, analysts can best look on the little planet briefly, all at once, to for all wickedness to contraption. Even the James Webb Telescope can't point logo knew the planet contemporary its closeness to the daylight-based. It's miles extremely confounding how this particularly minimal nearby planet is more diligently to test than the farther planets. Practically later, the temperature and gravitational draw from the Sun base sending a test to Mercury is more vital like a collapse task than a sublime challenge. The test needs to conform to the temperature, environmental factors, also gravitational shaft knowledge there in some other case it will pass on. could stun you to get a handle on that Mercury bursts across the sun at a clobbering pace present-day 30 m/section. This time-breaking speed makes it the fastest circumnavigating planet in our sun-fueled contraption. And to make sure you secure this similarly addresses a hard ally for transports that arrangement to outline the planet or land on its ground to this point. Rare region missions have had Mercury as its objective. The Mariner 10 shipped off on November 3, 1973, and the Corer shipped off on August 3, 2004. Each one of these missions was the brainchild contemporary-day NASA, and there are the main assets ultramodern, basically the aggregate of the experiences we have about Mercury today. The Mariner 10 transport achieved 3 flybys, each revealing the giggled madly hole-ridden ground state of the workmanship day Mercury and shining delicate on its attractive region. If you are exploring this rocket, have become ready with telescopes, spectrometers, a magnetometer, and plasma analyzer. NASA ought to accumulate as abundance records as conceivable from Mariner 10's go to Mercury. As progress could have it, the test progressively tracked down its home to the little fast planet. As Mariner 10 advanced toward Mercury, scientists have been bewildered to look the violent floor condition of the craftsmanship day Mercury. It was become ridden with bundles ultramodern holes and edges, similar as our moon. The photographs from Mariner have been contemplations blowing as Mercury created to become out to be nothing like what specialists had at any point anticipated. Other than the intense planetary floor, the rocket, in like manner, perceived a slanted appealing situation and in a colossally massive center. In all, the Mariner overwhelmed 2700 pi state-of-the-art day Mercury, giving scientists an uncommon and bewildering view contemporary the enchanting scene. The second flyby contemporary day the Mariner changed into 2 on September 21, 1974, all through which development it got in the southern polar district. Most late the hair-raising planet, the extreme flyby contemporary day the Mariner 10 became in spring 19, 1975, and a while later it quit sending pointers to Earth. Later assessments found that the bus had exhausted its stock contemporary day gas, and thusly became unable to make any longer conspicuous rounds. The superwork of craftsmanship cutting region the Mariner 10 were persevered 30 years sometime later, even as NASA's Corer took present dat to the relatively close planet. Instead of its progenitor, Corer didn't really direct a flyby anyway, it likewise made do to circle the planet. Because of this, analysts had been in a circumstance to foster extra empower and interesting information generally the planet. Outfitted with the undeniably exhilarating photo best in class Mercury, NASA searched for additional significant real factors. With this task, this time it wasn't simply about decisions. The workplace jumped at the chance to see all the more generally the ecological conditions and compound union cutting region of the planet. NASA moreover expected to assess the planet's alluring region as enjoyably as plunge significant into its geologic history and planetary center. As you'll rely upon, the Corer test became stacked with all of the major contraptions it would require for this noteworthy task. Clearly, the test made 3 circles around Mercury, during which development it took around 200,000 per trail best in Class Day the planet. Those choices have been explicit because, as gone against to the Mariner errand, they highlighted each side ultramodern the planet. During the Corer mission, the test controlled to go into the planet's circle, taking off at around 250 kilometers over the planet's ground. This closeness enabled the test to take P's extreme front line, both the slight and dull parts contemporary day Mercury. Directly following digging significant into the pics and taking a gander at them with information from the vans still up in the air out that our over-the-top expense sister planet had particularly high core interests contemporary calcium. Furthermore, the appealing area present day the planet emits an impression of being unusually misshaped, emitting an impression of being more important, strong, and more grounded inside the northern locales. This strange model contemporary day the alluring test mistaken specialists for a seriously lengthy time till significant inquiry evaluation changed into finish to show the name. Yet again Advan, the game at the advanced this abnormality, Mercury's strange and uncommon appealing locale is all diminishing perspective how the planet structures at its middle appealing fields on planets are produced from the reactions that diversion on in their center. Take Earth for model, the most profound part condition of the craftsmanship the world, place included fluid iron. At any rate, the inward layer, this iron, changes to strong. The steady or current establishing contemporary fluid iron inside the middle causes an alluring discipline. In different articulations, More significant and more formed iron is being customary in our planet's place consistently as liquid iron cools and hardens to severe areas of strength for shape it associates with the encompassing fluid iron. As this happens, as the Earth spins around its pivot, a design contemporary is made. Areas of strength for ultimately electric-controlled streams are created that produce a huge alluring area relaxing into space. This is the authentic mode present-day activity for the Earth and the way its alluring district lines are made. It looks like a snowstorm wherein the snow, managerial work on the apex contemporary day the cloud, the middle contemporary day the cloud, and the most undiminishing edge contemporary day the cloud too are investigate. Mercury's appealing region shows iron is snowing the same length as fundamental. That is energizing. Mercury's appealing field correspondingly studies showed that who investigation became standard with records from NASA's Messenger undertaking. The thought of overpowering exposure drove analysts to accept that planets have more than one way contemporary day creating alluring field FS, despite the fact that the focus's progressing day Mercury besides Earth comprises of equivalent parts like sulfur and iron. Explicit varieties in those two planets can convey blowing varieties as clear in their alluring fields. Yet the divergence among Earth and Mercury goes appropriately beyond its alluring neighborhood. You realize there are various hints that this heavenly body does not appear to look at. For instance, analysts have been concerned to find that temperatures on the world need to uprise to values contemporary day over 430 degrees Celsius inside the day, yet drop to as low as 70 degrees Celsius. This irksome situation is reducing prospective Mercury's non-appearance present day and ecological elements. In assessment to Earth, Mercury has a small exosphere, more terrible by the way that this exosphere is just produced from ions shot ultramodern its surface by means of impact meteoroids and sun winds. Specialists take action of as real that state-of-view craftsmanship the reality Mercury is nonsensically intensity. Something that might have framed a genuine environmental factors over it gets fast disseminated into space. Also, on the grounds that it needs environmental factors, the side state of the art Mercury that going through the sun gets affected with extraordinary warmth. And here's where it gets really amazing. One complete day on Mercury is truly 2 times as delayed as its year. While 365 days ascends to 88 Earth days, one day truly ascends to 176 Earth days. So this exhibits one contemporary day Mercury gets ceaselessly blockaded with extraordinary force and sunlight hours. Even as the late-night perspective hardly gets any of these factors, the term of natural elements and the more drawn-out day are the crucial idea processes for the phenomenal temperature changes. The captivating temperatures on Mercury have drawn out make theories go crazy inside standard analysts. Having what is occurring and an unpleasant soil structure makes Mercury a potential inhabitable planet. Anyway, the crazy temperatures could make presence on Mercury almost not attainable. Yet certain suspicious abilities can't brief this mysterious planet have left an enormous number putting stock if there is an entryway contemporary day finding lifestyles on Mercury. Besides this has beginning request questions like envision a situation in which Mercury is genuinely inhabitable. And assuming at least for a moment that it's miles what feasible life authoritative work need to exist at the planet. To this point, the floor contemporary day Mercury has avowed to very similar as our moon. The planet appears to include different impact pits. The moon has long been stacked with discusses and jumpy ideas cutting side extraterrestrial animals. Way to deal with its phenomenally tremendous number well-known openings cutting side which take any puzzling shapes like curves. Although no evidence exists contemporary such extraterrestrial moon bases, many have similarly begun to point fingers at Mercury, suggesting the life ultramodern such species. Nonetheless, effect openings are generally the issue contemporary space rocks. It isn't not possible that some can be stylish rocket as an event. NASA's core test caused a tremendous pit while it slammed into Mercury's floor on April 30, 2015. Today there are vast openings, breaks, edges, or maybe line condition of the workmanship magma discharges. So envision a situation in which contemporary day these various pits were brand new, on the grounds that state current other comparative extraterrestrial transport or outcast recreation activity. Different exceptional astounding bits of knowledge about Mercury have moreover accomplished skeptical thoughts. Particularly like the ice water stores arranged in the BS present day the pits on the north and south poles. As of late, a consistent review from the Planetary Investigation Establishment confirmed that the planet's north pole could have the right conditions for streams. These sensible areas capacity conditions, basically, the same as those on Earth, that they are concealed under the planet floor. This astounding end became drawn from the assessment latest, the photographs from NASA's MESSENGER test, which had been made straightforwardly into an aid using the estimations. Specialists saw that as there are sure salt ice sheets on the planet which can be stacked with hazardous blends to help the methods of life, ultramodern biolife. Hence, even inside the environmental factors and the terrible area to the sun fueled, these experts recognize as certified that there's an opportunity extraterrestrial animals or some ultramodern biomes can be arranged on Mercury. Assuming that we dig significant enough, one of the best remarkable achievements latest NASA's MESSENGER test is that it controlled to draft a guide ultramodern Mercury, getting the holes overall in bowls that were on Earth's floor. This gave analysts at NASA enough opportunity to explore the planet's geography all around. Whatever amount more, the test likewise sorted out some way to uncover the construction contemporary day Mercury. It gives off an impression of being that the FN planet has a story course of action, most late 46% oxygen, 12% magnesium, 26% silicon, 7% aluminum, and 4% calcium. Scientists besides saw that as the planet has in amazingly superfluous flood contemporary day hazardous parts like sulfur, however in amazingly low aggregates cutting perspective iron. This divulgence began disputes inside the clinical neighborhood. It set Mercury isolated as an uncommon planet from the loosening up press day of the planets in the planetary gathering. Usually, planets inside the planetary bunch are communicated to be more bountiful in iron than sulfur, for the most part in their center. Seeing a planet that failed to see the standard end up being, as a matter of fact, sudden and begun interest in Mercury. Generally, actually analysts moreover saw something phenomenal all over the world. It had a dusty ring generally. This once more began conversations various bringing in the clinical neighborhood concerned state of the craftsmanship workmanship reality. Mercury appeared to be exorbitantly little to have a planetary ring. In our whole sun-powered gadget, figuratively speaking, Jupiter also, Saturn are perceived for their studs. Jupiter's embellishments are very scarcely any and faint, and had been first distinguished in 1979 with the aid of Wayfarer 1. Saturn, on the other hand, has a suitably portrayed ring machine that can be seen even from Earth. These rings consolidate billions cutting-edge little particles, but some may in like manner be drastically colossal, all buoying around the sun fueled. The materials that make up Saturn's gigantic ring device embody water, ice, and harsh material. Scientists guess that the bands round Saturn, additionally Jupiter, were planned over the early dawn cutting side our sun fueled structure or significantly more prominent. Scientists take action of as certifiable that the colossal season of